absolute joy and an honour to interview you, believe me. Your story is just too remarkable for words. Now, we've seen a few of the comp cars, we've seen the side-by-sides, Ultra 4, whole different ball game. We've had a chat with Jim Marsden as well. But yours is quite extraordinary. You are one of the, I would say, the leading light in British off-road motorsport engineering. Extraordinary stuff. Now, talk us, Off-Road Armoury, tell me a little bit about your business, how it started, where did you get into this?
It's just absolutely a hobby turned into a job, really. Like, grew up on the farm, just building cars for trials, and people that sort of inspired me to get into off-roading was, and I thought the all drive club, you guys might remember Bernard Reeves used to trial back in the 80s.
Oh my gosh.
Muddlers.
It's my era, isn't it?
Yeah, cracking guy. Like, just when I first started out, giving me little pointers and getting involved. And as a kid, the farm I grew up on, Dudney's farm, was quite popular for trialing.
It was. I remember that too.
And that really wasn't. Then we moved to that farm, and I had the woods to play in and workshops to build things in. And it's just really started building contraptions in the sheds, and we're still building contraptions now.
But you have an absolute passion for it as well, a real passion for it. And we've seen you go from when Ultra 4 took off, you were absolutely in there. Now you're one of the few that has actually taken part and completed the King of the Hammers. It is Dakar, King of the Hammers. It is quite an extraordinary event, and you are building, designing cars to go out there and take part in it. The technology, as we said, this is the future, is today, is the ethos behind Goodwood Festival of Speed this year. Your car absolutely personifies it. First IFS single seater to go out to Europe and campaign and get there. I mean, you've really proven the point with this car.
It's been a really, really steep learning curve, and we're still learning a lot now. The sport in the UK and Europe, the Ultra 4 scene came about quite a few years after the US stuff had started, so we had so much catching up to do. It's just, and we're still learning every time we go out in the car now. But that's what we enjoy, is learning and finding ways around things and designing new things and just pushing forward. But it's almost as much of a challenge as the actual racing itself is actually developing the cars.
But it's not just, you're not just doing it for off-road as well. You've been involved with Man from Uncle, Phil's building, designing cars and things like that too.
Yeah, we've done great. We're actually building some fun cars at the moment, which you'll probably find out about a bit later.
A bit top secret. We have got a nod about it. We're not allowed to say a word about it, but yeah, I mean, that's quite extraordinary. And it does show the level of technology you're taking these vehicles to. It is absolutely remarkable. And you yourself, you have just so many podium finishes, titles, and right across the board. Last year, talk me through your favourite events. I know. Where do you start?
It's an absolute blur, to be honest.
I bet.
But last year,
King ofs.
The main one, I mean, King of Britain. It was a really grueling event, but
incredible.
It was rewarding at the end of it, because it was such a tough event. We were just relentless from start to finish that race, and
all the top crews there as well. I mean, you had some stiff competition.
That's it. I mean, it's probably one of the toughest ones, and we managed to put it together, and we won that event. But it's just so many different variations of courses across Europe, and none of them are the same.
That's right. And then you've got states as well. And the other thing we've noticed is a lot of engineering trading now as well, because a lot of your stuff has actually started to go out there, but a lot of stuff over here. We've got spider tracks comes over here, all sort of things. So a lot of sort of technology crossing over. But talk about engines. Tell me, what engine are you running at the moment?
At the moment we've got LS3 6.2, but it's the slightly detuned one, really. Before the last race, we actually had a broken piston on my engine. Found out the day before the race, so we changed the engine literally the night before the race.
In 5 hours.
So that was another bit of fun and games, but we're still running the slightly lower power engine, but we raced King of Britain in that. That was 300 kilometres over the weekend, but for that one, such an endurance race, we found the mellow engine was actually much nicer and stronger for that race. So I think sort of the races where they're going from one extreme to the other in Europe with the enduro races and the really fast short course races, I think we're going to find that power and reliability is going to be quite an important thing, finding the fine line that's going to work for everything, really.
That's what you do best, though, is you always got an eye on it, you're always checking, watching, clocking, everything. I've never seen so much high-tech gadgetry in my life. There's a boffin's dream in there. I accused Jim Marsden earlier on of having the most incredible shock absorbers, 5 5-fold bypass, and I thought, and he said no, only quadruples. I thought, oh, that's disappointing. And then I come to your car, and not only have you got 5, you've got 6. I mean, that is just extraordinary. How do you even start to think about that? What makes you go that route?
I mean, the guys from King, I mean, the experience they've got in the US with the desert racing and everything. So Giardo Uribe from King, he helps us a lot with the suspension, advises us what to run on the cars when we're building them. But yeah, clever guys, and they know what they're
it's
doing.
Extraordinary.
So.
I mean, that is leaps and bounds ahead. I mean, that is taking it to a whole new level, isn't it? But also tyres. Max is another ambassador for Max's tyres.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the Max's tyres, they work great for the European racing all round. We've got such a variety of terrain. They work at speed, they work in the mud, they work on the big rocks in Portugal. So yeah, they really have got it sussed.
You do put them through the paces, don't you?
Yeah, so they looked a bit worse for wear after King of Britain after a distance, but just for that race we had one flat over 300 kilometres at that sort of pace on rough, jagged rocks. And
but again, I mean, tyre technology moving on. Max is really doing the stuff with that as well. Watching again, just eyes on everything to see what needs to be done, and what you really have there to be at Goodwood Festival of Speed, to be invited here. You have to be an extraordinary person. You have to have done something, or you have to have an extraordinary car. Like many of the people here, you kind of done it all, so you tick all the boxes. But for you to sit on that start line this morning at the start of the Goodwood Festival of Speed hill climb, 2018 is the 25th anniversary. This is the year, and your car could not fit it better, because the ethos this year is the future is today, and your car is so futuristic. It's absolutely phenomenal. What did it mean to you to be there?
No, so on that start line this morning, I mean, pulling up to the races, you get a bit blasé about it, and I'm always getting caught having a nap at the start line, waiting for the start of an Ultra 4 race. But down there, I was actually nervous sitting there, like pulling up to the start line at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and good job with another clutch when the leg was shaking. Like,
really?
By the time you get going, it was good, and I'm just glad I got to the end and didn't make a dog's dinner of it, and I got up there reasonably well. So
I tell you, couldn't have been more proud of you. You're absolutely spectacular. For me, Rob Butler, it's an absolute honour to get to interview you. You are an international star, and to have you here at Goodwood showing the best of British off-road motorsport is, for me, it's just such a passionate thing. I just think it's quite remarkable, quite beautiful, and you are one of our leading engineers in British off-road motorsport. So I thank you for taking the time to come here and show off what we're capable of, and just for being you. You are quite amazing. Rob Butler, thank you so much for your time.
Bypass tunes are important. They're how we actually help to tune the shock absorber. We've done 4 bypass on my car, but we also have 4 bypass, which kind of makes it double. It's all about tunability. Ultra 4 here, and we'll see more on the track very soon.
Well, thank you so much. Don't go too far. You've got acoustic heaven on the far side. The rip at the end of the day. Especially set up in the States, finely tuned by Paul Jones.